Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam. Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java fam.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Thursday, August 25th in 2022. This is my actual second time on air today. Shout out to NPR GBH. Had the privilege of being on the morning edition show. We were on an actual radio station with call letters this morning with Jeremy and Paris, and we talked about the mayor's appearance yesterday. We talked about Java with Jimmy. They made me get a little soft because they asked, what does it mean to me to have this influence and impact? And so anyway, second time on today. We're scheduled to talk with the two entities that are working around Boston Carnival. I know a lot of folks are tuning in and waiting to see this episode. I sent all the information, clarified some technical, and so we're just waiting hopefully for the Mass Band Association to for their representative to log in. And so while we're waiting to do that, let's just go in and say good morning to those that are in the Java Cafe. We're going to catch up on some Orange Line shutdown stuff too, because as we told y'all, it's going to go further into the fall. But we'll give some clarity around that. Mama Java, good morning. Good to see you in the room this morning. Rena Francis, Intentional Self-Care, good morning. Good to see you. Daryl Drumright from Tennessee, good morning, sir. Good to see you in the room. Sharon Cornelius, you're back in order with the coffee cup. Sharon Cornelius, good to see you in the room. Opal, good morning. Good to see you in the room as well. Sister Debbie, good morning. Good to see you. Sister Soraya, good to see you in the room as well. Also, my baby sister, Tamisha, is in the room. Good to see you. Pastor Marion, good morning. Good to see you in the room. Auntie Java is in the room. Good morning to you. Also, Heidi Ivy, good morning to you. Good to see you in the room. So I'll start the conversation now to let you guys know kind of how we got here. Over the past maybe the past 4 weeks or so, I'd seen some chatter around Carnival, around some displeasure, around a desire to make it better, around some things that are lacking. And so I noticed it, sort of just, hey, paid attention to it, put up a post and asked, hey, Uncle Java is in the room. Good morning, sir. Stacy, good morning to you as well. And so I just put a post up one day and said, hey, like, what's going on with Carnival? Trying to, get some clarity. And things, continue to sort of percolate. And so now my understanding is that there is a group of folks that are boycotting the Carnival and not participating. And that's called the Mass Band Association. I have their, infographics and stuff queued up. If they're not in the room by 9:15, I'll just kind of go over their piece with the infographics. I mean, I can't make their stance, but I have an idea. And I'll say this as someone that has moved in spaces of new and young people and vibrancy and whatnot. I get, a desire to enhance some things. And I'll say from my own experience, it's I haven't always done that in the best impactful, productive manner. So I'll just name that about myself. And so I get that folks want to expand and folks want to do more. And I also understand the long-standing history of Miss Shillingford, who will be on with us. Miss Shillingford, who has been holding this down way back from back when I was with Mayor Menino. So, I kind of understand the perspective of both, but nobody can tell it like them. And so at the 9:30 hour, Kenya Beeman, along with Mrs. Shillingford, is going to be with us. And just also out of courtesy to Miss Shillingford, she lost her husband between last carnival and this carnival. So we definitely want to mention that and let her know that her and her family, one of her stepdaughters, is one of my favorite young people. And so we definitely just want to name that with all she's dealing with, still putting the carnival together. So wonderful, wonderful. Tashad, I saw some message. Good to see Tashad in the room. Also with GBH this morning, let me back up a little bit. I also, Sister Debbie, I'll send it to you in your, or I'll tag you in yesterday's. The one in the evening is not on Facebook. I believe you was on yesterday morning, but and good you had your dental appointment based on our last Your Healthy Java. And so the other thing is I wanted to thank Madam President Sheena Collier and her team, Tashad, Shakir, Jacqueline, and others, but especially Kania, who was the host for the Boston Wild Black Entrepreneur IG Live yesterday. It was definitely a good session. I believe Tashad just said the replay will post soon on the Instagram account later on today. And so once I get notification of that, I will let you all know. And Tamisha, what did we say right? Finally, someone said it right. Laugh out loud. You're the best. What did we say right? But anyway, so let me jump. Okay, Thaddeus said they had an hour-long post last night naming names and there's interesting perspectives. I hope they work it out in the future. Oh, okay. So there's some stuff going on social media with posts. And I actually seen Danielle Johnson, who actually was the one that reached out to me about having the mass ban on. I was just looking for some graphics and I saw she went live a couple of times. So there's a lot going on around Carnival. I will say, again, as someone that has tried to liaise before liaising, try to, express a opinion and thoughts and suggestions. I get it. And so, and I've also learned the manner in which to do that to be more successful. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm open to having both entities on and talk about their perspective. And so we will have the Carnival Association. Let me just check my text to make sure that, nope, nothing yet. Let me just check email because I double checked to make sure that everything was. Nope. So nothing from the Mass Association yet. So let me try to go through their graphics and see if I could just do some justice to try to explain where they're coming from. Save Boston Carnival, the Boston Mass Band Association is a unified group of band leaders, DJs, promoters, and community stakeholders who are working collectively to preserve the essence of Caribbean culture in the Boston Carnival, in the Boston Caribbean Carnival. Why and why now? Our mission is simple. Replace the existing board with a new community elected leadership team, whose aim will be to rebuild the declining elements of the Boston Caribbean Carnival Parade to its rightful place as one of the largest and most attractive parades in North America. Members of the Caribbean community possess the skill set and the requisite creativity, commitment, and capacity to restore passion for Caribbean culture and preserve its representation into the future. Boston Carnival facts. Foundational elements of the Boston Carnival, Kitty's Carnival, Panorama Steel Pan competition, Kings and Queens competition will not take place in 2022. Now, I believe I did see that there was a youthful event at what's the spot in Grove Hall, Lord Jesus? Prince Hall, I believe this weekend. Many major sponsorship opportunities have been lost, such as Sovereign, Santander Bank, Heineken, Guinness, and also Budweiser and more. The number of costume bands has declined drastically from a healthy 20 in 2011 to just 1 in 2022. Elections and opportunities to join the CACAB board have been closed to the members of the community. Despite requests, annual financial statements are not shared with the community. SBC bands in support. I would believe SBC is Save Boston Carnival bands in support. Boston Soulcaholics, Misfits, NFBC, Saucy Juve, that's Danielle. Chocolate City, One Jam, Happiest Band Alive, Labu Crew, Island Vibes, Branches Steel Orchestra, Pink, Lush, Temple Rhythm Section, Soca and Association, and Frex, Nixon. I think I got that right. So these are the folks in support of sort of boycotting the carnival. Under the direction of the Caribbean American Carnival Association of Boston, CACAB, for the past 20 plus years, the representation of the traditional elements of Caribbean culture and the Caribbean Carnival Parade has deteriorated in scope, quality, participation, inspiration, and impact. August 27th, 22 marks the 49th celebration of the Boston Carnival, and stakeholders are collectively inspired to act urgently with one accord to rescue what remains of the Boston Caribbean Carnival Parade. We must save Boston Carnival. All right, so I did my best to try to give their perspective from the Mass Band Association. Hopefully, someone will be able to get here. Sybil, good morning. Good to see you in the room. I was on GBH this morning. Thank you so much for that. 2 days in a row, and y'all know it's not often I don't have nothing to say. 2 days in a row, I'm sitting here almost stumped trying to hold it down till 9:30. Kenya, if you're listening and you and Miss Shillingford want to jump on just a little bit early, let me know. What are your thoughts, y'all, on Boston Carnival? I know if you're on social media, I know some of you have heard the chatter. Based on what Save Boston Carnival, just what I outlined here, do you agree? Do you agree that Boston Carnival has deteriorated? Do you believe? And while all of us go out and participate, those that are part of the Caribbean community that are actually active in this, I really want to hear your opinions as well. How do you feel about Boston Carnival? Now, let's keep in mind, 2020, 2021, we got to give some grace because things were not in full swing. And to give balance, I get the Save Boston Carnival Mass Band Association's perspective. Next year is a big year. It's the 50th anniversary. And so if they can get stuff into place and come together, get some new members on the board, I may give an opinion toward the end, but right now I'm just trying to balance both sides. And so in the comments, please let me know, what are your thoughts about the carnival? Do you feel it's deteriorated, not counting 20 and 21, but from 19, a few years back? We also understand that there often are issues of public safety. I'll be honest, Ms. Shillingford wasn't almost able to make it in her segment because she's working with BPD around public safety. And so in past years, have there been incidents? Have there been some members of the community there not in celebration and joy and Black joy, but there to disrupt and do things? Unfortunately, yes. Has that contributed to some folks maybe not participating? Probably. Tashad, I think it needs to be rejuvenated. Boston's Caribbean constituents, especially and all residents, deserve to attend and participate in a well-funded and vibrant carnival with a board chosen by the people. And so I guess I would have, and Tashad, I'm not putting this on you, but how would the voting take place? Any Joe Schmo can go in and vote? Is there a system set up to where, and then how do you tell people they can't vote? And so will the CACAB have a membership? And we're going to get questions answered directly from Ms. Shillingford and Kenya Beeman in just a few minutes. Another comment here is from Miss T. Good morning. Please tell Ella and Ethan I said hello if they're listening, and I got your note yesterday, their note yesterday. Tell them they make me turn red. It has started lacking any structure, which is leading to a free-for-all. Gotcha. Stacy says, I haven't gone in years because of the violence that has occurred in the past. Absolutely. Mama, Auntie Java is saying, my personal opinion, the younger people just don't understand the true purpose of the celebration of the culture. All right, Auntie. And I think they're trying to get back to that from the reference to the Kiddie Carnival. And I'll be honest, my major motive in going It's the food. I enjoy the costumes. I enjoy the bands. I get a little interesting feeling sometimes because there's usually some guy dressed up in an interesting looking mask and flipping that rope like he be flipping it. But you know, it is a joyous time, and people, you know, they pay for their costumes and they walk. There's someone that I know that was planning to walk this year, and they're like, I'm not sure. And so, and at the end of the day, as opinionated as I am, though I try to move in collaboration, you know, it just, for those that are looking from the outside, I think some folks wish that this collaboration could have come together without it being so public and kind of, you know, distension. And I mean, that's just the nature when you have different opinions. And let's also be honest, and I've talked about this before, when you have set entities that have been in place for certain periods of time, there is sort of this youthful vibrance that wants to be a part of, you know. And again, I'm trying to hold my opinion until the end. Let's go and see what other folks are saying. Stan is saying, good morning, Mama Java. Tashad is saying there could be some type of registration process with oversight implemented for the election process. Absolutely. Check my email. Yes, Kenya. All right. Okay. So I believe somebody is coming on in a couple of seconds by the name of Tanisha Lane. So hopefully she will log in the next 8 or 9 minutes or so. Kenya, thank you for that. Kenya is going to be our guest in the 9:30 hour. Auntie Job is saying beautiful handcrafted items to be appreciated, but party without hurting others. Absolutely. And don't forget the food, Auntie Java. Tashad is saying it should be an event like Caribana or New York Carnival where people mark their calendar months in advance and come from all over to attend. Now, to Tashad's point, I remember years ago that, you know, leaving Carnival, and I wasn't driving at the time, but walking home or whatever. And I mean, Columbia Road, there would be buses that came from out of town parked on Columbia Road. All right. And we have our guest, Tanisha Lane, who is here. We're going to give her as much time as possible before we get ready to cross over. So let me just get her queued up. Miss Lane, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing?
Your sound and everything is perfect. So we're good. Good morning to you. I did my best to attempt to try to cover the slides that was sent to me, but from your own words, ma'am, please, well, first of all, introduce yourself. Okay. How are you doing? Introduce yourself, and then let's check in on you.
All right. I am Tanisha Lane. Hello, everyone. I am a band leader for the Mirage Masqueraders. We started making masks and going on the road probably like around 2013, 2015, because I was involved in another mass camp as well. So I am one of the people that's in the community who's actually been a part of the carnival and had some concerns about how it's being run.
Okay. And let me just check in because we move in a mental health space. Describe in one word how you're feeling this morning, because I know you had to jump on here at last minute and cover for the young lady who wasn't able to be here. Yes, one word. How are you feeling?
I am actually feeling hopeful. I would say I'm feeling hopeful. Okay. I'm feeling, there is a little disappointment because, okay, you know.
Let's go into that because our time is kind of short. And so from your own words, Ms. Lane, please share with me why there's this movement of Save Boston Carnival.
Okay. Well, it initially started because the band leaders were mostly dissatisfied with the operations of CACAB, which, you know, is the Caribbean American Carnival Association of Boston. So we go to meetings, you know, when at the beginning of what we consider the beginning of the carnival season. So meetings start usually around June or so. Maybe this year I feel like it started a little earlier in May. And we go to these meetings every 2 weeks and we meet with the Carnival Association Committee. Okay, so what happens is that as band leaders, we have been concerned about the lack of bands, the lack of support from the committee, and just like the way that it's run, just our meetings and just how everything's being run. And we've noticed that the carnival has deteriorated a bit. If you are familiar with the carnival, we used to have about a good 10 to 15, anywhere from of just mask bands. This is what, mask bands are those that display costumes. So we've noticed that it's been a decline in that area. And, we're expressing concern because we are one of the top carnivals in the United States for many years. This is the 49th year. There's not many states in the Union, in America, that can say that they've had a carnival for that long. We are one of them. And for us to be such a smaller city, we've been very successful in having a carnival and getting people into town to celebrate the Caribbean culture with us via carnival. And we've noticed that over like the last 10 plus years, it's been a decline. And it's mostly because of this dissatisfaction of the band leaders and even the revelers, and people even just who come to the carnival.
What are the revelers, like the bystanders?
Revelers are actually the people who wear the costumes.
Okay. All right.
So those are the people who are, and come to see the costumes and everything. So there's spectators that are even noticing that, the carnival ends. When I was younger, I've been going to the carnival since my mother is a very proud Trinidadian woman. And I was able to start going when I was around 16 to the adult costumes.
Does your mother make kuchela?
Oh, she does all of it. Oh. The roti.
I'm going to email the mask band email. We'll touch base after.
We'll talk.
In all seriousness, I want to ask one question. In the decline, how much have you given grace to 20 and 21 because of the pandemic?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
I was just.
This is not, actually a lot of bands participate. Myself, I came out of retirement because my band, we stopped going to the carnival for a few years. And I even still try to bring costumes and everything last year out of like a few years that I have not been on the road, just so that we can show support and show that, we're coming back alive. Okay. And, to revitalize the carnival. And I was disappointed in just some of the goings ons. And this is not a smear campaign or anything. We've really been trying to work with the committee to improve. People have offered their services as far as trying to, give insight, just suggestions as far, just even accepting Cash App, Zelle. It's very antiquated system, and that slows things down. We have to come up to the time. When we look at Miami other carnivals in other cities, New York, Miami, you go to Caravana, they're way more ahead than we are. And that's what's disappointing to a lot of us, is that we want to be on the stage, and we deserve to be at the same places that they are.
So let me ask you this, because even in the comments, and there's comments right now, and I've seen some sentiment online outside of today's show, there is some sentiment from some community members around how, and you can't speak for everybody that's part of Save Carnival, but as a representative, has Mask Band done their best to hospitably work with Ms. Shillingford and this, how do you pronounce it? CCAB? CCAB. Has there been a assertion in hospitality to attempt to work with Ms. Shillingford? I wouldn't be a good host or my authentic just resident just to ask that based on some of the stuff I've seen. It's
a valid question. It's a valid question, because I know the sentiment from the Carnival Committee is that the bands are not working with them, but I have gone to the meetings, even when my band was not going on the road, just to be as an observer. Mm-hmm. And I've seen the interactions. Yes, there are some band leaders that are a little bit more vocal than others, and they may become testy, but it's a frustration that is valid. I'm sorry. It's like, if we're asking, if you are as a band leader asking that your band be promoted through the committee and you're being told no, and the fact of the matter is that there's no carnival without the mask band. It's just going to be a regular parade, just like the St. Patrick's Day parade or any other parade that we have in the city. What makes us unique is that we do have costumes. What makes us unique is that it goes back to the culture. There is a culture that goes behind this, and that includes the March of the Bands, the Masqueraders, Juve, all of that is included, and it's like we're looking for more. We're trying to improve upon that culture. And whenever it's voiced in the Carnival Committee meetings, it's met with, a lot of resistance, and nobody understands why, so it's been years of trying to work with the Carnival Committee, and it just feels like there's no leeway given to any of the suggestions, any of the, the complaints. It's just not being heard. And I think that's where the frustration is coming from right now. And that's why you will see probably maybe you'll see probably one band, maybe two, that have costumes, when we used to have a plethora of those bands. There's not Kitty's Carnival was a travesty. There was nobody really there.
So there was I thought I saw something when I was going through the your graphics. I saw a reference to not having a kiddie carnival, and I thought I saw something that there was an event on Saturday for the youth. Is that the one you're referring to?
Kitty's Carnival is Sunday every year. It's always the Sunday before the big carnival.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, Sunday. I thought I saw
that kind of kicks off the week.
Okay.
Yes.
So there was
Kitties on Sunday. Then we have all other things going on. You have the King and Queen show, which is all the big mass pieces from the different mass, and they compete. And that didn't happen. That usually, and I haven't heard any word of it happening. I want to say it's usually on the Thursday. We have Juve the Friday night into Saturday morning, and then we have Carnival, which is the Saturday. So we have a week of events, and it's been lackluster. Okay. And this is why, we hate to see this. I personally hate to see that this is happening right now, but it just goes back to, you have to communicate, you have to listen to the people who are making your carnival look good. And that is the mass bands. Got you.
I'm going to, and I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to flip it with the CACAB that's coming on in just a couple of, actually they should be in a second, getting ready to come on. Can you say one good thing about the attempt to collaborate?
Oh, I can say, you just want one? I can say that I think this will produce a better carnival for us. That's what I really, really think and hope, and way more fun, way more colorful, exciting. People will be anticipating this, and I just hope that they do look at what's going on and take these people seriously in what they are saying, because it's enough is enough, This is what happens. We're not the first ones to have issues with carnival. There's other places that have as well. And there's people who have had to cancel their carnivals for good. We don't want that.
Let me ask you this, because what I just heard from you was this isn't confined just to Boston, that there are other cities that are sort of, would you, and again, I'm asking you as Tanisha, not representing the band right now. Do you feel it could be generational? Because the reference that is going on other places kind of lets me know it's not just here. And so is it sort of a generational movement where the younger people?
Well, I could say that it's different things. Generationally, the costumes have changed. They're way more skimpy. There's way more the kind of dancing. That's where the generational change has changed. Okay. This is about just change in general over the carnivals, because there's other carnivals that are more successful over the time. So, and that's where the gap is. We want to be one of those more successful carnivals. There's Trinidad. If you've seen Trinidad, you've seen Barbados, you've seen St. Lucia, St. Vincent. Those are in the Caribbean, and even Miami. Miami had two carnivals at one point because there was contention, and they've come back together. So we want to see our carnival get back together.
And so that is the thing, because I did say to the team, and Miss Shillingford just left BPD, so they're kind of waiting to come on for her to get to it, because we wanted to make sure she was on screen, so she's going to where she can get support being on screen. But that, I believe, though, I think you and others would ideally prefer if it could have been done, quote unquote, behind closed doors and not be as public, because there are some folks on the bystanders that are like, I don't know if I'm going this year. And so I hear your point of making it as best as possible. And I share the sentiment with you. I hope and believe that through this discourse that there will be a coming together, a meeting of ideas and whatnot. And so and we can go over a little bit more time if you would like. In your ideal situation, to Miss, I'm going out of respect, Miss Tanisha, Miss Lane, I believe, what would next year look like?
Okay, what next year would look like, it would look like we have support from the Carnival Committee as bands. There would be some funding dedicated to the bands as to put trucks on the road. It costs a lot of money. And in these days and times with the economy looking as it does, it's very, very rough for the band leaders to put trucks on the road with no kind of help. So we're looking for that support for the band leaders. We're looking for support for the vendors. We're looking for more, events to get towards the children that are organized well. We're looking for more just in general support, like them promoting band launchings, for instance. That's where the bands have their costumes displayed, and people can come and see what's coming out for that year, that season. Even something as simple as a carnival committee assisting and just promoting it on their website, on their Facebook page, things like that, so that we can have a great 50th. We want to see more artists come to town. We want to see more artists on the road, and we want the carnival committee to be the ones to reach out. We want to see a new carnival committee, new faces on there, add more people who have actually been band leaders, instead of just somebody who works in the city because they can get, some funding. We'd like to see more cultural events just leading up in the week, So we want to see a big 50th. We want to see a Marshall. We want to see a Voice, GBM. We on the road at the Kitties.
Hold on. Who's GBM? Who's GBM?
GBM Neutron.
Okay, because I'm a Yankee, so what's out there now? And this is a learning process for me. So one of the things I heard from you was, of course, it costs gas, renting of the trucks, getting the big speakers and whatnot. And so for my learning, I'm asking you, away from what's going on, the process is that the bands typically are responsible for that in order to be on the road.
Yes.
And what you're looking for from CACAB is for CACAB to help supplement some of the cost. Okay. Yes. And let me ask you, has that been done before? Or has it in
small amounts? They've done a little bit, but the fact of the matter is people are getting wind of money that's coming in, as far as sponsorships and things like that. And people, even if you can be more transparent with your allocation of the funds, of where these money is going, even just a matter of competing as a competing band. When a band wins a competition, for Band of the Year, right?
Yep.
You are supposed to get a cash prize. Bands have not been getting their cash prizes on time. Okay, they sometimes get it the whole next year. Explain to the people why that's happening. That's what I'm saying. Like, the transparency is, this is where the disconnect is, because these things are not being communicated to the people who make the carnival.
Now, let me ask you this and I'm going to learn from the CACAB when they come on as well. I know, just from my familiarity in nonprofit and being a new entrepreneur, I know that there, some meeting notes and minutes and stuff that, some goes with the board, and then everything can't be made. I can talk this morning, be made public. And so, not giving an excuse, but just for my own familiarity, then I've been in situations where I wanted some information and couldn't get it. So I just would like to mention that, because it just putting out a financial statement just in the public can become very interesting. But I also understand your side around the transparency, and this is a learning.
But legally, as a nonprofit, you have the responsibility to furnish those financial documents upon request.
What is it called? Not 959s, 999s. I think you do have to sort of publish you do have to submit that to, because most nonprofits, you can go into a couple of websites, put the name of the nonprofit, get their financial standing and their P&Ls and all that stuff like that. So I do understand that. And again, they're coming on to sort of not necessarily respond, but give a perspective as well. Along with, it being a wonderful 50th, let me ask, have you noticed, since you started suggesting in this year, have you noticed any adoption of any of your suggestions for this year?
It's the same committee. The biggest issue is that we want to see a change in the committee, and it's the same committee.
But has there been any sort of compromise and nudge out of? I know the CAB enhancement is the major thing.
The one thing I must say that they did waive registration fees this year.
Okay.
But I've also heard from somebody trying to register that they were denied entrance because they did not have to pay a registration fee. And the Carnival Committee made a PSA stating that they were waiving fees this year. So, it's a little bit confusing.
Okay.
As to, when that happens, so that's what I'm saying. I feel like sometimes they're not all on the same page with what they discuss. And then it's confusing for those who come in and try to register and try to be a part of the celebration, when the Carnival Committee is not in harmony, so that's the issue. Like, we need to see an organized Carnival Committee, and this one that's been in in rule, you can say, for half of the almost 50 years. And it's, it's got to change. So we would like to see that they make some effort to change, because now it's like too little too late. In my opinion, I'm seeing like little changes here and there, like just even the billboard went up. We love that. Usually the billboard that doesn't suggest a cultural event that's happening. It's just the picture of like the president's face, and that's kind of like, people are like, that's what we've seen over the years. This year they have the actual masquerader on there.
Okay.
And we're like, wait, great, but it's still too little too late. It's almost like we don't want you to appease us just for this year, just to shut us up. We want to see long-term changes occur.
I definitely understand. My hope is, and I actually, Kenny, if you could adjust the camera, we're actually going to bring them on. And I've been very intentional with both perspectives that I would like to have at least a 30-second crossover, because from those of us that are looking on the outside, it just, we all have the same goal of having a wonderful Boston Carnival, and getting there through different lenses, through different experiences, through different thoughts of how things should go. Because I'm one of the most opinionated people you can know. So I get it. And there's been some sentiment about, how, and there's a whole, I haven't even fully looked, but there's a whole debate going on in the comments over here. And if I looked at those, you and I's conversation would have got distracted. And so what I would like to do is bring in Kenyon Beeman and Ms. Shillingford, that we're going to talk with them in just a couple of seconds. And it's great to have both of you here on screen. And the hope and desire is that, next year would be 50th, and we would do our best to bring unity between the CACAB and some expansion, and then also an appreciation for what CACAB has held down for 49, 50 years. And so, thank you so much, Ms. Lane, for coming on with a short minute notice. I did learn a lot from you. Please, reach out if there's anything, that you want to, that we weren't able to get into today.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Miss Tanisha Lane, who is part of the Mass Band Association. Kenya, go ahead and take off of mute. And listen, I don't want nobody trying to come after me or whatever, because away from, and I mean, she's known for Carnival, but away from Carnival, I have the opportunity to have the wonderful, the legend, Mrs. Shillingford here in the Java Cafe. Mrs. Shillingford, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
That is good. And Kenya, how are you? Thank you for being our sort of production tech person here today.
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
I am doing well. So, Miss Shillingford, can I get one thing out the way? Can you just go like this? All right. All right.
You my best.
Listen, so a couple of things. Mrs. Shillingford, I know that you, and I said this in the intro, but the last time I got to physically see you was at the funeral of your husband. And so this year, with everything that's going on, I just want to name that and once again share our condolences with you, because this year is very different that your partner is not here. So hopefully you're doing well. And let me just begin with, before we get into the conversation, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm just working through the motions and the challenges, but I'm looking up, not back or not down.
Yes, ma'am. And Kenya, I have to ask you as well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Can't complain. We outside this summer, so we're doing good. Thank God.
Yes, ma'am. And so I'm going to jump right in just because time got interesting. And either one of you can answer. Actually, I'll ask Ms. Shillingford. Ms. Shillingford, I had someone on from the Mass Bands, and they have expressed that they have tried to attend meetings and in a hospitable manner. And Tanisha wasn't able to speak for everybody, but tried to bring concerns and suggestions to the meeting. And actually, you know what, Ms. Shillingford, with all due fairness, before I go to that, let me just, because I did that with their graphics, I'd like to review your graphics first and then maybe go into the conversation, because you put and now these are a little bit more wordy, so I may not read everything, but I just want to share with you some of the infographics that the CACAB has put out over the last couple of weeks, and then we'll go into the conversation. And so, as of August 20th, CACAB, important PSA, as we embark on the 49th annual Boston Caribbean Carnival Parade, we do this in and with the community. In the past 20 years, under the leadership of Shirley Shillingford and the CACAB Volunteer Board, we have tirelessly worked to elevate and voice and identify, the West Indian community here in the city of Boston. The success has yielded the following: the legal institution of Caribbean Week as a part of Massachusetts legislation, the institution of Boston Junior Carnival, the establishment of the King and Queen competition, the formal recognition and implementation of Juve, the creation of the Boston Carnival ecumenical service. Oh, wait a minute, Kenya, there's a service? I might have to pop out on Sunday. Also, number 6, the regional expansion of Boston Carnival promotion, the legal procurement of city and state property to facilitate carnival festivities, partnerships with reputable public and private entities to finance carnival festivities, the rebuilding and strengthening of relationships with state, city, and law enforcement to secure Carnival's existence. 10, the development of relationships with elected officials to prioritize the cultural diversity of Boston's BIPOC populations in the city of Boston. And here we have, and I'll share more of the infographics later.
Yeah, it's also on our Facebook page as well.
Okay. And well, Kenya, that's actually where I'm and turn your camera a little bit so we can see you too, or your computer rather. And so that's actually where I got it from. So thank you so much. And so Ms. Shillingford, I got a overview from the Mass Band Association just a few minutes ago. You're well aware of the concerns and suggestions. And so Ms. Shillingford, with all due, what is your response to them wanting to enhance or expand Carnival?
First of all, let me say this. We, and I speak for the board, is not hesitant about sharing or about enhancing or about even involving certain entities in the community. But what is very clear to me is that these people are very, very disrespectful to me. They have said all kinds of accusatory things that is not true, and we have to file taxes every year. And so it is at the Secretary of State's office. So if anyone want to view it, we cannot just have Carnival and don't file taxes. So we have to have it there. I'm not gonna go all the way back, but in 2019 when we had Carnival, we got $150,000, which was earmarked to us. That year from the state. And that year, every single band that came on the road got a check from us. It's in the books. We gave them. The bigger bands got more, the smaller bands got less. We gave them what we had. When we got that money, Carnival was in August, and we did not get the finances, which they give you a half between January and June, and the other half between July and December. So the second half we use to pay prize money. Let me also say, and that was held in January. And let me also say that when I took over Carnival, band leaders of the year was getting $250. It didn't even take 1 year before it was increased to over $1,000. And today they're getting $2,500, sometimes even $3,000. The record is there to show. It's not just word of mouth, and so even though you might hear different, we cannot give what we don't have. 2020, there was no Carnival. 2021, we as a board decided that we are going to do something for the community. We absorbed a concert in the park. We paid for all the artists to come in. The city helped us also to do this. We we paid every penny. What we got, we did not get any money from the state. We got $10,000 from National Grid. We got another $10,000 from another
Amazon.
entity, Amazon,
Amazon,
which Mayor Walsh got for us.
We also got funding from Eversource.
And we got funding from Eversource in order to put that concert on. It was free to the public. It was well attended, and all the artists we paid for. So we started 2022 not with much money. And so therefore we cannot give what we had. A sponsor said that they would give $5,000 so that we could give each band a little money. We got proposal from the bands, $3,000 they wanted, $2,500 they wanted, some
8,000.
wanted 5,000 and all that. Now, we did not have the money to give them. Let me say this, that Senator Collins got earmarked for us $100,000. That is a reimbursable money. It's not, we cannot give band that money. It is for production and promotion.
Right.
We are a non-profit organization. We have to submit through the contract all that has to be paid. What they think that we should not pay, they kick it out. So we know the rules and regulations as to what we can pay from what we cannot pay. However, at this time, we have not gotten even the contract for that earmarked money. So we couldn't give out anything.
Right.
We were willing to give something, but what they were expecting of us, we were unable to do so.
Ms. Shillingford, if I could chime in with, and it's an interesting dynamic because of the respect I have for you, and so I might preface some of these questions with that. But a few things I just heard there to recap. One, there is financial accountability. You all file with the state and the
Yes.
IRS, and those are public records, if I am correct.
Yes.
And so folks can go, they may have to do some due diligence, but folks can go, and if they really want to look, they can go to the state and get what you file.
Yes.
So there is financial accountability. I did hear from you some of the transition, because I did ask the other group, you know, when you're talking about a deterioration of Carnival, whatever, are you counting 20 and 21? Because that, I just really don't think that should count. But you just mentioned that 21 was a concert with not a lot of funding. The other piece I want to ask you, Ms. Shillingford, that some of what was shared by Ms. Lane was that they tried to address some of their concerns in board meetings. And with all fairness, I understand, you know, there's agendas, there's time, you know, that you blocked out 2 hours and either at the building or people got to get home. And so if you're not expecting sort of this deep conversation, I get that you may not go too deep, but what is it that you would say to those that have come to the meeting and feel, keyword, feel that they have not been heard?
I am not going to say that. You know, in a meeting, there are plus and there are minuses.
Yep.
And if you come at anybody, if an elected official, and you come with this disrespect, I don't know who is going to listen to you with that. If you came and said, listen, you know, we would like to work with your board. Can we meet so we can talk about how we can promote the 50th anniversary? Nobody is going to turn their back. Right. But when you come with the disrespect and the assertion and the calling of names and all of this, I mean,
it's a lot.
Yeah. And I remember once that something was shared on our page, and Kenya handles the page. I don't. So she said the reason why she did not put the band leaders information on there is because we wanted the opportunity of putting our information first and then theirs.
Yeah.
But there is no forgiveness here when something is done. That's the problem I have. And so therefore that meeting, Kenya responded in that way, whatever way she did. Yeah. And of course, they started to be very disrespectful and loud, you know. So I'm saying that as human beings, we make mistakes and we can forgive mistakes.
Yep.
And with the Carnival Association, we can never do anything right, no matter what. They never do anything right. All of what you listed there that under my leadership that we have done, you never hear any of those things mentioned. The White Stadium that we are enjoying today, I fought. Fought that I got the banner.
I could attest to that, Miss Shillingford.
Yeah, exactly. In order to get it so that they are enjoying it today.
Yep.
We fought to put Caribbean Week in the legislature under Governor Dukakis. We have done things to put the Caribbean on the map. You don't hear any of those things. I get it that they are interested in getting money. But do you know, Toronto Carnival gives money, but it is taken over by the Bank of Nova Scotia for the same reason, because the Caribbean people that was on the committee, they were fighting the same thing, and the state took it over. And today, that is one state that give money to the band leaders to make costumes. That's the only one. New York doesn't give it. Miami, not even Trinidad, give money to the band leaders. Nobody else. Boston Carnival has always tried, no matter how small the amount is, we try to do right. And you can never do right.
On top of in kind, every time we get donations, like this year we got in kind donations from Puma. In the past, we've always gotten in kind from Heineken. We've always made sure.
So wait a minute, there is a relationship with Heineken.
Yes. Yesterday.
Say yesterday.
Yesterday, we picked up, and it's only 20. What they usually give is 80 cases. Yesterday, they called. They are also undergoing some financial difficulties too.
Everybody's trying to recoup from COVID.
Exactly. And everybody is trying to give a little. They gave us 25 cases of beers yesterday. Immediately, we know that the people who registered with us, we are going to divide those beers with them. We already gave to 2 different bands.
Ms. Shillingford, don't say too much about giving out the Heineken right now, because we don't want nobody messing with you. But
no, but I'm just saying that. And Puma gave us shirts and shorts. Yep. We gave out 2 boxes of them at the kiddies on Sunday. The rest we are giving out on Carnival Day. Whatever we get, we give it out. We share it, but it's never enough.
I understand, Ms. Shillingford. Let me ask you this, because one of the major things that have come up, one was money, and thank you. If I heard you right, Boston is one of a few places that supplement the cost for the bands to be on the road. Is one of the few that does that, right? Or the only?
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's something that I'd like to bring up. The other piece I would like to bring up, as far as one of the things that these comments today are so interesting. I think these are the most comments and these are the most people I've had in here in a long time. How is the board election process open to the community and to the public? Because that's one of the things that is a lot about the comments, is about the board process.
So we're a nonprofit organization.
Yeah.
Just like Rosie's plays, Father Bill's plays, just like American Red Cross, when they have a board of directors, they do their internal election process. I don't know of any nonprofit organization that does a public, election process. I really don't. And some I have sat on. Now, they may do a display of who wants to apply to be on the board. Mm-hmm. That's what I've seen. That's my experience. But I have never seen a board do a public display of an election for their board of directors. We're a nonprofit with a board of directors.
And so you
do a report. we have a bylaws. This is not a committee, which I think is being a bit confused. Because I keep hearing
It's
that
not
the
an
committee
event.
should select.
It's not an event committee. This is a
Right.
full-fledged,
This is a
paper
full
filing
board. Exactly.
nonprofit
It's a
organization.
nonprofit organization.
So you go through the regular process of board members. I'll ask this. If someone is interested in being a part of the CAB board, how do they do it? So it can't be said that you all didn't make that information public. How does one?
It's an application process. Yep, it's
Okay.
an application process.
And an interview.
And an interview.
Okay.
And so, once we have
And when does that? What time of year does that? And what are the time of year? And what are the terms of the board members? I can't, because I'm familiar. I'm going to go down this road for 2 seconds, just so the transparency is there. What is the term of the board members? And then what time of year do you usually, when their term is up, or is it staggered?
So it's every 2 years.
Okay.
And it's typically in November.
Okay. So this November we're going into now, is this an election year or is it next year?
So we're actually changing things just a bit because based off of the concerns of not just the band group and even some other folks, we're going to open up an application process soon after Carnival.
Our board by the bylaws cannot have more than 15 people on it.
Okay. And
bylaw states.
Right.
And is there, Ms. Shillingford, with all due, is there anything in the bylaws that, because you've been the board president for a while, is there anything in the bylaws where the board president is, you get voted, they vote for the president during the election, right?
Yes.
So there are at least 15 people that give input on who the board president is going to be, correct?
And on the board, when we do have election,
Right.
Yes.
we can have up to 15.
Up to 15.
It does not mean that you have to have 15.
Absolutely.
You can
Absolutely.
have up to 15.
Right.
And within that board of however it is, which right now is 9, then when you have an election, they vote for the president, whether
Absolutely.
they want me or they don't want me.
Right.
And it's a majority that carries.
Okay. All right. So if I can ask this kind of Kenya and Ms. Shillingford, there are 9 spaces now. There are 6 open spaces. You're going to open up the application process a couple of months away from Carnival. And so are you all going to publicize that the application process is open and people will be able to go apply and then, go through a filtering process? And I just wanted to acknowledge that Ruth is in the background, but because I just want to balance and be fair, we had one from Mass Band. I won't have 3 all on it because y'all know some folks will be calling me about James. Why are you? Anyway, and we are getting this good information. So Ruth, if you got something else to do, you're good. But thank you for popping in.
She's our public relations officer.
I understand, and I
don't know who was invited from the band leaders group. I know Tanisha was the only one who showed up. I don't think she was supposed to be the only one who showed up, based off my understanding.
Looking at Ms. Shillingford is going to get me back in focus. Okay, so there is an election process this coming fall.
Yes.
The CAB is going to make sure that the community is aware of the election process. Then everybody that is interested can apply. And so that is the process for the CAB. Ms. Shillingford, you kind of are, because the 2 major things I heard, if I had to give 2 top central themes, was money and the board. And so you gave some clarity around the money. Folks can go and obtain the public records. Kenya, I can't remember the name of the form, but every nonprofit has to submit, what is it, the $9.99 to that nonprofit group where you can look up like the status of a nonprofit. I can't remember the form.
Yeah, no shade. I'm not a CPA. I know there is some form.
We have a CPA.
Okay. And so the money information is accessible.
Yes.
Correct. And I know ideally, folks may want it, and I don't know any nonprofit that just ups and throws all their P&Ls and on, current financial status. I don't know anyone that just throws them out there for the public on their website or just to view them. And so can we leave with, we are leaving with a few things. 1, the election process will take place in the fall. CAB will make sure that the community knows about it. And 2, Ms. Shillingford, you gave clarity around the fact that 1, Boston is one of few carnivals that help supplement the bands being on the road. And so, go ahead, ma'am.
Yes, as I said, Toronto is a different carnival because the state of Ontario takes that over.
And that's a bank, just so you're clear.
And they give money. We, from Boston Carnival, once we get money, we always try to share it. We always do. And the last time we did was 2019. 2020 was no carnival. 2021, we absorbed everything. And here we are in 22.
Yes, ma'am. So there is, go ahead, Kenya.
No, because I just kind of want to just quickly address a couple of things that I know they've shared on their slides. Just really quickly, if I
yes, ma'am.
Maybe a quick 60 seconds. I know one thing that has come up consistently with the band group was that there have been 20 bands down to one. And so, what I have shared with others and on our platform is that we don't control bands, which I'm sure they know this. Like, we don't govern them. They govern themselves. They are their own entity. They're their own entrepreneurs. They do their own thing. They raise their own money. They make, they create their own fees for their costumes. Like, they do their own thing. And so, over the years, a lot of our bands have been ran by a lot of our seniors. You know what I mean? A lot of them over the years have gotten older. They've gotten tired. They even attempted to pass on their legacy, their band, to a younger generation. And so, and some of them just have not brought a band. And This is not just 2022. This is even prior to COVID. And so, we don't control that. So I just want to make sure we're clear. You got folks who are moving out of the state altogether. You got one who's been ill and hasn't brought a band and hasn't really just, so
the band, let me just cut to the chase, KB. The band's not being present is not just all because of conflict. You can't attribute every band that's not involved anymore because of conflict. Okay, we're clear on that. And what was the Kenny? If I could just chime in right here, because we do have the graphic and Thaddeus is asking. And so for the Juve bands, there are 10 bands that will be a part of the Juve celebration, correct?
Yes.
And then on Saturday itself, there are 9 bands that will be, because Tanisha taught me a little bit, that will be on the road.
Yes.
In the actual carnival. All right. So Smooth Network, Team Golden Eye, Family, that one. Temple International, Zave on the road, Socaholics. So wait a minute.
Right. Some of these same names are on their slides. Yeah, we're confused too.
Okay. Socaholics, Cloud and Production, Island Vibe, Sweet and Nasty, Team C, Cacab. And so there are bands for Juve. And there are bands for I'm sorry, let me get y'all back here. And there are bands for what do you call it? The carnival on Saturday. Yes. The parade. Okay. All right. And so is there anything else that you would like to communicate to the audience, those that are coming Saturday? Because I shared with Tanisha that, and I've heard this from someone saying they was going to walk this year. They may not do it. There's a little bit of confusion from the community around, if folks are going to carnival. And so what is it that you would share with the community that is happening on Saturday and even beyond as we're getting ready for the 50th?
So I would just say this: the Carnival Association has always been about community and family and just having a great time celebrating the Caribbean culture in the city. We are the only and largest Black event organization that's put on this event, and so we have for many years had it in our community, Dorchester, Roxbury, and so we want to keep it there. I think we're asking any and all to come out and have a great time, come listen to the music. We still have a plethora of vendors who would be in the park selling everything from food to beauty products and clothing and baskets and all sorts of things. It's a great time. It will continue to be a great time. I would also say that, we're not a perfect organization. We know there could be some changes and some things that we can work on. And we're open to working with people, working with the band group or anybody.
Can you hold on? Let me give you the big screen and say it one more again. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was saying that we're open to meeting with the band group and having a conversation as long as it's in a diplomatic, respectful, productive manner. I think what has transpired over the last several months just has not been okay. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. And so, we had suggested to, I guess, the band group leader that we were open to having a meeting with them, with a mediator, so that way both parties are heard.
Okay.
And then there's no kind of mudslinging, if you will. You know what I mean? So that way it's a productive meeting and we could get to some resolve.
If I heard you correctly, post Carnival, I don't know when you're going to do it, but I'm presuming post Carnival because Carnival is this weekend and today's Thursday. So post Carnival, there will be a reach out to the Mass Band Association to have a conversation. As I had to laugh because Ms. Shillingford looked and said, as long as they're respectful, in a respectful manner, with a mediator to come to some sort of conclusion between the Mass Band Association. But in addition, Mass Band Association members and other community members will be made aware of the election process in the fall. They will apply, and then they can be interviewed, and then there will be some iteration of a new or more board members post the election.
Generally speaking, yeah.
Generally speaking, now Kenya, when you say generally speaking, what is the part that we need to go specific in?
That's in general. I mean, there's an interview process with the application.
Absolutely.
A deliberation, if you will. Then people are just selected. I mean, there's details to it. Taken. Yeah. There's a vote for folks to be selected. So I mean, those are just the little tiny details I'm talking about. But generally, what you're saying is what's going to happen. Yes. Okay. The other piece I wanted to ask you about. Oh, I forgot that quick because I made a mistake and looked at all these. Kenny, when we get done, go back and look at these comments, Jesus. And so I will ask you all, like I asked Tanisha, and I was purposeful about the crossover, but I will ask you, Ms. Shillingford, is there one thing that you can mention in a good manner, a positive manner about the Mass Band Association? I asked the Mass Band Association the same thing, and they said one thing that they did notice was a change to the billboard. It's a mass person now, and it's a more general advertisement. Ms. Shillingford and Kenya, what's one thing that you can speak to well about the Mass Band Association? I'll say this. I know they work very hard. I know they may feel that they're not appreciated, but they are. We know the hard
Say that again, Kenya, please. Say that again.
I know that they feel that they're not appreciated, but they are. What they do, the hard work they put into, creating their designs and coming up with their theme and all the sections they have in the parade and, the organizing process of it all. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. I can totally understand that it's a lot. And I would say that, every year I look forward to what they bring on the road. All the colors, the feathers, all the pieces that they bring out. It's just a sea of colors when they come on the road. And it's always beautiful. It's always beautiful. So I can never take that away from them, is their creativity and the hard work they put into their craft. And I think that's something I can say on behalf of the board, honestly, is that their hard work is just wonderful. And what they produce in the end on Carnival Day is something great. So
that's the band leaders.
Right, that's the band leaders. Yeah.
So let me ask Ms. Shillingford about the Mass Band Association. Is there anything positive that you can say? Because I asked them because one of the things, if someone who is not always handled wanting to get in the room in a good manner, I'm intentional in these moments about just trying to help liaise, good camaraderie.
I'm speaking from the heart.
Yes, ma'am.
And I am saying that I cannot say anything good about this group that is there. I really can't, because when I tell you they have been abusive to me, it's an understatement. And mentioning my age and all this kind of thing. Yes, indeed. I work for the city of Boston now for 47 years. It's not because they like my face. It's because of the work that I do in and around this community every single year. And nobody gives credit for those things. All they think of money. All money is not good money. And so our desire is to help them. Whichever group want to come is to help them. Once we have the money, we will help them. But this group that is there this year, I can't say that because they have been nothing but abusive.
And I got it as someone that moves in a mental health space, and with all due respect, Miss Schiller, for being a senior, that's a little interesting to hear. And I want to say, Ms. Shillingford, that and they do too. They do too. All of us appreciate the years that you have put in to ensure that we can come out on the fourth Saturday in June for me, eat, see costumes, and just have a good time and then face the challenges around public safety when some incidents have happened and whatnot. I understand. And thank you so much for rushing to Kenya's today after you got called by BPD to go handle something. And so it's disheartening to hear that you have had that experience away from personalities or whatever, just as a senior and a Black woman in our community. We just want to send strength your way, and encourage you to keep on doing what you're doing. We did leave this conversation with the understanding that there will be publicity around the election process. I seen a question in the comments about nomination and all of that. I believe it's held as a regular board application process.
Right.
Do you all take nominations? So I can just answer that question with due diligence. It's an application. So it's self-applying. It's self-applying. Self-applying. People need to actually apply. They can't nominate and say, hey, I want such and such. But if such and such don't fill out the application, they're not going to be interviewed to be considered. Okay.
Correct.
All right. And then we're also leaving with the application process, and then also understanding that while it is your goal and desire to help supplement the band costs, gas, those big speakers, the truck, and all other things that come with that, that you said that when the money comes in and it's available, you do your best to help. You've also said you raised the grand prize for the band from when you came on some years ago to now. It's been somewhere from the $2,500, $3,000, and so my own question. Yes, ma'am.
Let me just interject that in 2019 we paid out 36,000 in prize money out of the 50,000 that we got from the state. $36,000.
So wait. Prize money goes to the bands, right? And either
yes.
Juve bands and bands on the road.
And here's the other thing I wanted to state. Anybody that wants to obtain the records, the financial records of the CACAB, you can go to the Ashburton Place, soon to be Secretary Tanisha Sullivan's office, and get those there and get the information. And so this has been a good learning process for me. I learned some stuff from Tanisha, learned some stuff from you all as well. And at the end of the day, I was open to this because, again, Kenya knows I haven't. This Jimmy is one side of Jimmy. The other Jimmy, used to be interesting, and so I was intentional about trying to bring some sort of cohesion. Miss Shillingford feels the way she feels by the experience, but in knowing her, and Kenyan folks, we will hope that there can be some reconciliation from those that made you feel, from ageism to, the disrespect that you experienced. Hopefully that can be rectified. And thank you for being transparent, because most of us, it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. And anybody, my grandmother taught me, you get more bees with honey.
Oh yeah.
And I haven't always practiced that. So
you hit the nail on the head, and I say that because I know there's been a live with the Band Leaders Association calling out names, because I was listening prior to Tanisha coming on. And so, that's what we're talking about. It's kind of the slinging that's just not okay. You know what I mean? The slinging, the character, the mischaracterization, that is just not okay. And that's what we're deeming as disrespectful, amongst other things. It's just not cool.
I understand. I just, Miss Shillingford. And I've tried to be as balanced as possible, because I know what it is to be a younger person and wanting to, and not even so much younger, because I asked Tanisha, was it generational? She said, no, not well. She was real about costumes, a little generational because they're a little more, 2022-ish versus, 1985, a little more skimpy. But, as someone that has not always done well at wanting to get in a room, I just really have an affinity for this conversation and the hope and believe that another thing we're leaving with, financial, I'll recap them and then we'll go. Financial records are available through soon-to-be Secretary Tanisha Sullivan's office. Two, there will be either before or simultaneously a reach out to the Mass Band Association for a sit down with a mediator, and or around the same time, CACAB will ensure that the community is aware of the application process for the board for its next board season. Correct?
Yes.
All right. I will say this, and I'll let you guys go before I give some commentary. But I'll say this with you all on screen is the fact, when the application process opens, don't fall into, I'm not going to apply. They're not going to let me. No, apply and participate. Don't be a pessimist, and don't be on. If you want to be involved, attempt to be involved in a manner that is engaging and hospitable. Mm-hmm. And not saying that, folks have, it's just so interesting trying to balance all of it. So Miss Shillingford, I know you got a lot to do to get ready. Festivities coming up on us this weekend. Just for folks that don't know, where do folks go on Saturday morning to get ready to?
Saturday morning, which is 5:00 in the morning, it's Juve on Talbot Avenue.
Okay, where it was last year. Okay.
Yes, and you cannot enter on Blue Hill. You have got to enter from the Codman Square area.
Is that driving or walkers?
Driving. Anybody who's walking could walk however they want to get there.
Okay, but from driving
or any vans, they have to come from the Codman Square side of Talbot Ave.
Okay, all right.
And then that it finishes at 10:30 right at Sash's Columbia and Blue.
Yes.
And then at 1:00. So all trucks have got to be inspected at Dale Street, which is right by the McDonald's, to make sure it's safety on the road. If you're an elected official, if you're a band, anything, you have to be inspected there. Mm-hmm. That inspection takes place between 11 and up to 12:30, because you have got to be in place between 12:30 and 1 o'clock. They may even do it as earlier
so everyone that is doing a band or walking should be over by Day Street between 11 and 12:30 to get ready to leave at 1, because they have to be inspected for safety, correct?
Yes. And then at 1:00, we have one of our DJs, not DJ, MC from New York, called Wasi. We are having him at the corner of MLK Boulevard and Warren Street, where he's going to be entertaining from 12 until 1. And then that's where the ribbon cutting takes place, and a little speaking engagement. The mayor, the new commissioner, the congresswoman, and one of our oldest advisory board member and used to be senator. She is our honorary chair this year. So they are going to be there for speaking engagement. Our grand master this year is Sheriff Tompkins, and our grand matron is Congresswoman Ayanna Presley.
Okay. So you heard it directly here, and I dare not say what we usually say mouth. You heard it here from the Queen's mouth about the festivities of this weekend. And I would like to thank Tanisha from the Mass Band Association, who was on earlier, and also thank you, Ms. Shillingford and Kenya. And we as a community are leaving again with the understanding that they are going to come together with a mediator, and then also CACAB is going to be very do a lot of outreach around the application process that is taking place probably this coming fall.
Yes, so everybody please like our Facebook page at a Caribbean American Carnival Association of Boston.
You better go ahead with the plug.
Well, that's where the information will be displayed. Yeah, so you want to follow that to get the updated information.
All right, so follow that. I'll sure there'll be posts about it. If I see it, I'll share it and post it as well. And there's also Erin, my sister, good sister friend. Erin is on saying there's a prayer breakfast at City Hall at 9 a.m. What day is that?
Friday morning. Tomorrow morning at 9.
Okay. Yep. All right. I might have to pull out my old caller, Kenya, so I can get in. No, so I'm messing. Miss Shillingford, thank you so much. And again, we honor you. And I would venture, no, I'm not going to venture to say, I hope and believe that everyone would interact with our seniors in a manner that they would want people to interact with their parents. And I'll just leave that at that. But again, away from the issues and people or whatever, just to hear you say that and be offended like that as a pillar in our community was interesting to hear. And so again, we send you strength. Can you give Miss Shillingford a hug for me, please, since I can't be there?
Let me just say one thing. My daughter says something to me. She says, Mom, every year you host a senior ball. You're a senior too. But God has been so good to me that he has given me strong faculties and memory so that I can, even though I might be a senior, I am very well alert.
Miss Shillingford, I was always taught that you never ask a woman her age, but then an achievement of where you are. And can you give me a blink or know whether I should? But do you mind sharing, Miss Shillingford?
That's entirely up to her.
Okay. Do you mind sharing? Wait a minute, that blank face. Do you mind sharing?
Say this, I'm over 70.
You over 70, Miss Shillingford?
I might not look like it. Yeah.
Wait, you're supposed to wait for me to say it because
no, I am telling it because they say I am old.
Self-confidence and self-esteem is a wonderful thing. Everyone doesn't have that.
At 50 and at 70. And so Miss Shillingford, again, we could stay on here. Oh, Aisha said 26 and counting.
Right. Yes,
Aisha, yes.
All right. They did not say James is a senior citizen also. All right, Miss Shillingford and Kenya, thank you all so much. I'm going to go share some commentary and pay some bills. Thank you both. And thank you to Tanisha as well from the Mass Band Association. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
So everyone, Jesus, I've been on for 90 minutes. All right. That's why I'm a little bit tired. So, all in all, we got clarity around some things from the Mass Band Association, and we got clarity from Ms. Shillingford. Financial statements are available. You may have to do some work to get them. Board membership will be opened this fall, and the CACAB group is going to have a meeting with a mediator post the carnival. And so, yeah, this was, I'm glad this happened. Danielle reached out about the Mass Band group, and I said, because I know Miss Shillingford and y'all know I try to be balanced. I couldn't commit to bringing them on without getting Miss Shillingford on and the CACAB, and we wound up making that happen. So hopefully you got some information. Hopefully you're coming out this weekend. Hopefully, if you're interested in being a part of the board, that you apply. Don't just talk, but apply when the application comes out. All right. All right. Let me just, I don't know if I want to go in these comments. And Tanisha, just to bring some fairness, because she wasn't able to come back in. Thank you. Simple suggestions for improvement of the carnival is not disrespectful. And as we said to Tanisha before, in one sense, she was representing the association, but she can't represent all the individuals. And what I gathered from her is she, don't do that. So, all right, that's it for me, y'all. What's today? Thursday? Do I have meetings? Anyway, today's Thursday. This is my Friday. So I won't see y'all again until Monday morning at 9 a.m. with Dr. Brandy. Our Grandmaster, and I don't know what Congresswoman Ayanna Presley will be here with us on Tuesday morning after being the grand, I ain't gonna say, but grand, whatever she's doing with Sheriff Tompkins in the parade. She'll be with us on Tuesday morning here in the Java Cafe. And I am in the process. We will have City Councilor candidate for DA Felix Ricardo Arroyo will be with us next week. And also in the process of working on Maura Healey as well, who is kind of just the new Democratic governor. And before folks get me in trouble, yes, I said soon to be Secretary of State Tanisha Sullivan. Yes. I ain't even gonna say spoke it like it. What is it? Lord Jesus, I'm rusty with scripture, but we believe she's gonna get in there, Jesus. All right, folks. Grand Marshal, thank you, Auntie Java. Grand Marshals, one of them, Ayanna Presley, will be with us next Tuesday. All right, I'm out of here. Grand Matron, thank you, Aaron. Y'all, I appreciate how y'all got my back. Asking for the meetings to be run more professionally is not disrespectful. See, this is why I get in trouble, because I'll read them out loud and whatnot. So all in all, hopefully everybody can come together. And I'll just say that if an individual, especially someone who's a senior, and I mean, we just need to be respectful of one another. We need to respect our seniors, and our seniors need to be mindful and respectful of our young people as well. And on that, I'm ending. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you on Monday at 9 a.m. Have a great day, everybody. Peace.